Good morning. This is Sean with Trenchless Pipelining. We are at 15420 Southwest 78th Place in Palmetto Bay, Florida. We are going to be looking at approximately 52 feet of pipe. There's a few inches in there, but So we're at 52 feet. I'm going to start pulling the camera back. What I've done is I have pushed down from the vent stack all the way over to the main line. And we are going to start pulling it back. The reason that all you see is white right there is because, well, we did rotary form solid epoxy lining on this, which means that every single inch of this pipe is covered from start to finish with one solid sleeve of epoxy lining. And it's white. Clean, new, looks like a brand new pipe because it's just as good. We're going to pull it back a little bit. Right there you see the lip for the connection. We are in a branch line, and that right there is where we join the main line. You can see that the epoxy goes all the way to the edge and continues all the way up until we come out the stack. We're going to start pulling it back. There are a lot of twists and turns in this pipe, and that's why we chose this method. There were some holes, there were some cracks. We were able to fill those. We were able to locate the epoxy pump right above the holes, pump them full so there's a nice solid bottom now underneath this liner. So there's no chance of anything disturbing it. But this line is extra twisty. I believe we just passed the laundry line, laundry connection. We should be coming up to the kitchen. I'm sorry if I can't see very well and give you better info, but I'm up here in the bright daylight. It's very hard to see the screen. Again, like I said, there were places where the bottom of the pipe were completely missing, and we pumped the void full of epoxy and then coated over that. One was right here where this little low spot where the water is, which means we should be getting right to the kitchen. There's the kitchen coming in right there. Alright, this right here is two 90s positioned back to back to make an offset. You can see we're coming through the second 90 right there. Those are two 3-inch 90s to offset around something. That was one of our major issues with being able to put a regular liner in here. That liner would not have been able to go into those 290s, it would have created an issue, or B, be pulled past those 290s. And that's why this style of epoxy lining was chosen. Plus we have that right there, which is a Y connection, which then leads to that right there, which is a 45, changing the direction of the line, which then leads to that Y connection right there. And now we are coming up the 90 to go vertically to the roof. We are now, those are the double connections right there. I believe there's a bathroom back to back, either that or there's a double vanity there with two separate lines, but there are two lines coming in right there, and you can see that epoxy flowed into those lines just a bit. Sealed those lines completely. at the edges, so they'll never crack or decompose. And then our lining comes all the way to the roof. This vent stack will never suffer from another rust issue, crack, or any other kind of issues that could cause any kind of weird smells or moisture to get into the house. Again, this is Sean with Trenchless Pipelining, and that was 52 feet. Coming up to the bottom of those sink connections is where we stopped our footage. It's 52 feet to the bottom of the sink connection, which is a good idea to line that 90, because sometimes the stress of the concrete can crack those 90s, causing leaks. So we did line the 90, getting rid of all those problems. So the footage goes just to the bottom of the two connections for the sink. But that's 52 feet at 15420 Southwest 78th Place in Palmetto Bay, Florida. And that was the guest bath branch.